Merry Christmas, everyone, it's Charlie. Does that not give you a flashback, just to make a flash pun, to Season 1, Episode 9, that mid-season finale where he said, Merry Christmas, and you finally got the reveal that he really was the Reverse Flash because of the yellow suit. There's a new round of that Flash Ring giveaway. All you have to do to enter, just be a subscriber and leave a comment on the video. But I know there's all kinds of questions about what the ending meant and along with what's going on with next week's episode because it's like full-blown battle mode. Remember, there's only 6 episodes left, including tonight's episode, meaning that they're going to be wrapping things up pretty soon because there's only one more bus medal left. But the circle is now complete. The student is the master. That reference was also very timely because even though it was meant as a joke during the Barry elongated man scene, like he's starting to learn, he's becoming a better hero, so the student really is starting to become the master. But it's also very subversive with Harry's storyline because now he, the student, is becoming more like the master, the Harrison Wells Eobard Thawne from back in Season 1 because of what he's doing here inside the Time Vault and what he might eventually become using the dark matter with the thinking cap. So, top 10 WTF Easter eggs, let's do it. Number 10, Jay and Silent Bob episode of The Flash. If you guys didn't know, Kevin Smith directed this episode. He told a big story on his podcast about how the producers asked him to be in the episode, and they were like, would Jay want to be in this? Because it was going to be a comedic moment. So if Silent Bob himself is going to be directing the episode, then why not go for it? And he said that it took him a minute to say yes, but eventually he did, and they had a lot of fun. And he's like, I'm not playing Silent Bob the character, but I don't speak, so think of that what you will. Kevin Smith has directed a couple episodes in the past, but this is the first one I think that he's guest starred in. Jason Mewes actually got to guest star during a couple episodes during Season 2, during the Zoom season. He got to be one of the background figures with a costume on, but he also got to be that annoying character with the Hummer earlier in the episode. I think that was from the same episode. I think he just played 2 different characters. But within the Jay Silent Bob joke, number 9, they actually drop a big Black Adam reference. The crown of Kahndaq. You steal from Black Adam, you get lit up. It's as simple as that. Just do not do it. They did the same thing on Smallville, where it's like, yeah, they're probably not going to be able to use the Black Adam character, but you can reference Kahndaq all you want, because it really does exist. I think they even used Kahndaq during Batman v Superman. So they're just sort of like laying the groundwork for eventual Shazam Black Adam stuff in the universe, because we do have Zari on Legends of Tomorrow, and I can't say her actual comic book name in the video because YouTube will flag it because it's the same name as a terrorist organization. But you get the idea. Eventually, we'll get some Black Adam. It might just take a long time. Number 8, Breacher is back. Always fun to see Danny Trejo on. They drop all kinds of Dusk Till Dawn references. If you haven't seen that in a long time, badass Quentin Tarantino, really good grindhouse movie, but also a lot of really cool Danny Trejo in it too. This is what he looked like during that. You don't realize it, but this movie was a long time ago. But it all sort of works with the vampire reference. So just a reminder that we now have vampires in the DC universe, but they're on a different Earth, so who knows if we'll ever see them during a crossover episode. But Oliver Queen Vampire Hunter does sound like a lot of fun. See if he wants to do a vampire episode of Arrow in the future. But number 7, we get the Null character. So I wasn't a super big fan of the actress's portrayal of the character, but I talked a little bit about her during my trailer video. The character actually debuted during the Hawk World comic book. They had that really funny reference during Legends of Tomorrow's finale, the stupid chicken people. Still not totally sure after the episode why the Thinker needs her powers in particular, because he already has repulsor technology, but because she was flying around at the end of the episode manipulating her own relative gravity, maybe that's what he'll use it for. Like, it'll just give him the ability to seemingly fly, even though that's not exactly what's happening. Number 6 was the comedy bit where Elongated Man pretends to be Joe and they go to interrogate Carson Beckett from Stargate. They bring that character back. He's a bit of a weird character that's a little over the top, but I'm a huge Stargate fan. I love the character when he was on that TV show, so I give him a bit of a pass on that. And they only used him a little bit. But the real reason for this scene being so awesome is the fact that it's Jesse Martin having fun pretending to be Elongated Man, pretending to be Joe West. So it's just fun to watch Jesse Martin pretend to be really silly. It's just like that fake play from Thor Ragnarok where you have Anthony Hopkins, the actor, pretending to be Loki, pretending to be Odin. So you have Anthony Hopkins being really ridiculous as his Odin character. Oh shit. Number 5 was Marlize realizing that she'd been roofied with those tears. So it sets off this Westworld arc. If you're not a Westworld fan, that show is actually getting ready to start. I do videos for it, so I would recommend you check it out. but a big part of the season 1 plot was the way that they treated the robots on that show. So sometimes they'll slowly achieve consciousness, they'll realize what's going on, and the people that run the park will have to reboot their minds, and it'll become this big loop where eventually events will lead to them slowly regaining a form of consciousness, then they get rolled back again. So they call that a loop. So Marlize has been on a loop, and we find out number 4, even bigger WTF, that this has been happening over and over again. How many times has it happened? Too many times. So this is one of the worst crimes that the Thinker has probably committed, this form of spousal abuse, where he is doing the thing that they actually highlighted during the hero arc. So remember when Elongated Man had that line of dialogue and said, "You're not doing what's good for me, you're doing what's good for you, Barry." Barry was making the selfish choice. Cisco did the exact same thing. There was a parallel with the Breacher storyline too. Cisco lied to Breacher because he was worried he wouldn't get to keep seeing Gypsy, and it almost led to Breacher dying. So the whole idea is that eventually Cisco does the right thing, tells the truth to Breacher, Barry does the right thing with Ralph, but because the Thinker is the villain of the season, does not do the right thing and continues to abuse his wife and puts her on another loop. In that very last scene that they had in the episode was the exact same thing that happened at the beginning of the episode, just indicating that she had started another loop. The big thing I think they're foreshadowing here is that Team Flash will eventually find out what's going on. They'll try to help her, and Marlize will be critical in defeating the Thinker. So they included a lot of moments and a lot of dialogue in the episode to remind you of really important ideas that I think that they'll pay off later, like being unpredictable, telling the truth, working together as a team. They all sound like platitudes, but trust me, those will be very important for defeating the Thinker later on. Number 3 was the fart save at the end of the episode. Obviously, the fart, was kind of funny, a little bit gross. But the real thing is look how far his arm can stretch. That's crazy. He goes above one of the buildings. That's just nuts. They kind of did that earlier this season. You always wonder, what are the upper limits of his abilities? His powers actually work a little bit more like Plastic Man's powers in the comics rather than the traditional Elongated Man. Plastic Man is different because he can mimic anything. He even turns himself into a shredder during the Dark Knight's Metal story and shreds a bunch of enemies. But again, I think the real reason that the Thinker wants Ralph's powers is so that he can get his old body back. Although he does have a lot of other abilities. It's just that there's usually one thing that he wants from each of the metas. Number 2 was Cisco potentially leaving the show down the road. Breacher's like, hey, I'm gonna go to that dragon farm on Earth 47. Get your Khaleesi on, have some Game of Thrones fun. I'm not a Khaleesi. So many good Breacher one-liners. I could just see them standing off screen, giving Danny Trejo different funny lines to read. Try this one. Talk about using your knife as a mirror because you don't want people to think that you're a little girl. The whole thing with Cisco is that the actor actually tweeted this out in response to Danielle Panabaker tweeting this out. Say it isn't true. Are you potentially leaving the show? And he's like, is this clickbait? Is this drama? What's going on? The thing they might do, because I don't think that the actor is full-blown leaving the show, is that it might be a Willa Holland Arrow situation where they just leave for a couple episodes, then they come back. So the internal logic for why he would be gone for a couple of episodes is just because he's working with the Breachers. There's really only one big reason to send him away before the end of the season, and that would be to leave Barry a man down in the fight against the Thinker. You take away some of the chips that Team Flash has, it makes it harder for them to win. But it almost feels like they're setting up more of a season 5 plot, that'll play out over the course of that season. So he'll come in and out of episodes. I think it makes it easier for them to balance the cast so that everybody doesn't have to be in every single episode. You don't have to give everybody a storyline. If Cisco's not going to be doing anything in an episode, it would make sense that you just don't include him in the episode so that you can focus more on the other characters that are bigger for the story that week. So I think that's all that's going on, but as far as I know, the actor is still a main cast member, but remember, we still have 5 more episodes to go, so I think they won't make more season 5 announcements about the cast, like who's staying, who's going, who the new people are going to be, until we get to the summer. So just put a bookmark in that. But number 1, of course, is the return of Gideon using the Reverse Flash's gear to juice up the thinking cap with dark matter. And that's what's going on here if you're not sure what it is he's hooking this up for. He's going to do the thing that Cisco told him not to do. Don't use dark matter like the Thinker used. Because there was this big running plotline in the episode where Harry got pissed off that the thinking cap wasn't working the way it was supposed to because they were preventing themselves from juicing up their thinking cap with as much energy as the Thinker did. But the problem is that now it seems like he's turning into more of a villain the more he uses the cap, especially with scenes like this that make him seem almost exactly like Season 1 Eobard Thawne Harrison Wells. So that's why you see him hesitate when he puts his hand, like he's thinking about it. Do I really want to do this? Then he puts his hand down, and it's Morena Baccarin as Gideon. Remember, the Legends of Tomorrow Gideon, even though it's the same program, it's a different actress doing the voice for that. So I'm so happy that they brought her back for this rather than use the new actress, because it just keeps it in continuity on the Flash TV show. It's always been the same voice of Gideon on the Flash. But remember, he's juicing up the thinking cap, and he has access to future knowledge. So it sounds like he's just going to try and cheat, so to speak, take the shortcut. Remember that Star Wars reference, now I am the master. He's slowly turning into Harrison Wells' Reverse Flash. Now, not necessarily physically becoming him, he's not going to have his powers. He'll be a very different kind of villain, but because they made the Star Wars reference, shortcuts, anger, hate pave the path to the dark side. So it's sort of like Anakin Skywalker falling from grace, slowly seeking a shortcut to cheat death, because now Harrison Wells is seeking a shortcut to beat the Thinker. Can't go wrong with a lot of classic Star Wars, but let me know if you spotted any Easter eggs that I didn't mention in the video and what your favorite moment was. We also have to talk about what's going to happen to Harrison Wells if they continue down this path, because they could be setting him up to be a Season 5 villain if he goes off the deep end. What'll happen is I'll post my Flash trailer video tomorrow morning. I'll name the giveaway winner when I post that. Click here for that brand new Thanos Infinity War trailer, and click here for my Legends of Tomorrow finale video. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.